All right, we are so back. Hello, peeps. I don't want to do the Northern Lions. Oh shit, that's me. I forgot. Holy crap, immersion completely destroyed. Apologies in advance. I forgot I was opening GA cards. Completely destroyed, yeah. How you doing, Crickfa? Alright, we are Uminekoing. We're back from IRL and all that. I'm sorry if I destroyed the immersion. Okay, so plan. So we gotta get back up to speed on Umineko. We're in the middle of episode 3. Been enjoying it so far. Doing good. Keen to watch him cry. Yeah, we're already crying. What's streaming without the scuff, eh? But yeah, sorry, I got a phone call right as the stream was starting, so I got a little crossed. Okay, so we are in the middle of episode 3. The first Twilight has happened, and the first Twilight's sacrifices were Kinzo and the 5 servants of Rokenjima. Shannon, Kanon, Goda, Genji, and Kumasawa. Kumasawa revealed herself to be the original Beatrice Gray, which there's a couple questions that come to mind around that. One being, who else is in disguise, so to speak, or as they said, asleep, right? Because current Beatrice said Kumasawa, aka original Beatrice, had been awoken by the magic, and more people are coming. So I had a theory that something, the only person who truly has magical powers is Battler. And he actually, in his belief, I think belief is a really key theme to the recent happenings in the recent episodes, is Beatrice is adamant, or I guess hellbent, on getting Battler to believe that she is a witch. And I think in doing so, if Battler believes something, it more and more becomes true. So if Battler believes Beatrice is a witch, Beatrice is a witch. And her powers grow as she gets Battler to believe she's a witch. That's why not only have the things gotten more and more elaborate, and Beatrice has gotten more and more involved in trying to get Battler convinced that she is a witch, but the actual, like, happenings have gotten more and more outlandish. Because Battler has been waning and, you know, coming and going, kind of ebbing and flowing with how much he believes that Beatrice is a witch. So I think that might be part to do with it. There's also the whole Beatrice farm theory. Hi, Mike. How's it going? The whole Beatrice farm theory where Kinzo fell in love with the original Beatrice, Kumasawa, right? And either had a child with her, like, you know, locked her away, kept her to himself, and had a child with her outside of, you know, the children that he had with his wife, and that's Orange Beatrice. And then we know that while Rosa was young, that Orange Beatrice died. The woman who looks like our current day Beatrice died. So I'm thinking there are more of them, and that's either through perhaps cloning. Perhaps some of the research and stuff that Kinzo has put money into is cloning. So maybe he's making clones of Beatrice, or the more effed up explanation, which is Kinzo is incestuously reproducing constantly with these Beatrices as they either die or rebel or other things happen. And there are actually a lot of these Beatrices roaming the island, roughly, you know, a couple years apart from each other, maybe. Well, no, they wouldn't be a couple years apart from each other. They'd be about 18, 19 years apart from each other. Whatever Beatrice's current age is, these Beatrices would be kind of that much gapped. Because they always say, like, oh, Beatrice comes back around every 18, 19 years. And, you know, that kind of leads me to think that maybe there's something a bit nefarious going on there. But enough talk. A wise man once said, enough talk. Let's get back to it. Wow, it has been 11 days since I have played. Hey, Reese. Hi. So this is now, I believe the second Twilight is either about to happen or already happened. When being besieged, your true enemy isn't much the fear of an unseen culprit, as it is keeping such fears alive for long periods of time. Maria got bored and started complaining that she wanted to watch TV. I think Maria might also be a Beatrice in disguise. There was no TV in the lobby, so she decided to return to the cousin's room on the second floor. The adults probably wanted to make sure Maria wasn't left on her own. They told all the children to go to the second floor cousin's room. George, who was grief-stricken by the loss of his fiancée, led the cousins up to the second floor without any resistance. At first, Nanjo had been reading a book in the lobby, but when he noticed the relatives looking like they wanted to discuss something sinister, he said, "It seems I am in the way," and returned to his room on the second floor. I'm starving. And if we just keep sitting around, we'll get sleepy too. We're so back. Hey, Evan, how's it going? It's only natural. We didn't get any sleep at all last night. We will probably end up being barricaded here for a full 24 hours. Maybe wiser to take naps in turn instead of overstressing ourselves. True. My husband and I will remain here, so I ask that anyone having trouble staying awake take it easy and rest. A little sus, Natsuhi. Our opponent might be expecting that, right? Okay, also, I forgot from last time, Ava's inner child was speaking to her, and they only introduced that. They only introduced that, like, for, I don't know, 10 minutes at the beginning of the game. Ava kind of has her inner child talking to her, and there was an allusion to her childhood where she always felt less than, and she needed, you know, like, and then she's like, in adulthood, I'm going to show them, basically. So kind of a little hint that, like, maybe she's the killer, but also, like, you know, why did they bring that up and then just not bring that up again? It might come up again, but that also, in kind of VN language, visual novel language, you know, that's, Chekhov doesn't just have a gun in visual novels. Chekhov has a bazooka, and I'm thinking that's a Chekhov gun for maybe Ava with the orange hair is, maybe Beatrice slumbers inside Ava. Chekhov's thermonuclear warhead. Chekhov's boomerang. Even if they couldn't defend this many people, if that number shrinks enough, they may plan to use that moment to strike. There are 7 of us here, so we could take 3-hour shifts in pairs. Ah, the Dungeons and Dragons approach. Tomorrow morning's a long way off. We still have some energy now, but tonight's gonna be tough. Sure will. Anyone sleepy? I know I am. Don't overdo it, and get some rest. Hideyoshi looked around at everybody who wanted to sleep first, but no one volunteered. Inner Ava reappeared when they got Maria's letters. That's true, she did. So yeah, she's actually coming up a little more consistently than just at the beginning. Everyone was just as tired, but no one was bold enough to go to sleep right away. Their fear of the unknown culprit was just as strong as their sleepiness. Nobody? Well, don't overdo it, everyone. If we get tired, we'll deal with it then. I'll admit I'm sleepy, but I'm not in the mood now. As Ava spoke sharply, she reread the second letter from Beatrice, which had been found in the boiler room. Beatrice had sent them 2 letters, which had repeatedly told them to solve the riddle of the epitaph, as she'd even provoked them by saying she'd give up her assets and the headship if they could solve it. Ava took out a notebook and opened to a page with the epitaph copied onto it. Is this that epitaph? Yes. I hate doing what the culprit says, but we do have some time to waste. I think it's the perfect way to stave off boredom. Not a bad way to kill time. Why don't we challenge it together as siblings? Can I borrow that? I'll rewrite it just a little larger. Natsuhi, do you have a slightly larger piece of paper? There should be paper in the servant's room. I will bring some. Thus, Natsuhi immediately brought back a blank B4 sheet of paper from the servant room. Pog. Paper sizing. Kairi borrowed Ava's notebook, wrote out the epitaph on the paper, and laid it on the table. Then everyone quickly peered down at it. They automatically formed a crowd. I've heard about it, but really, this is a tough riddle. I don't have a clue what it's talking about. At one point, I also did my best to solve it, but I was just as clueless. If you did know, you wouldn't have come all the way out here without a plan, If you did know, you wouldn't have come all the way out here with a plan to make money. After all, it's 10 tons of gold we're talking about here. This is the first time I've read through it seriously, but roughly speaking, couldn't it be split into 3 parts? I've been thinking this since last night, but you really are a good thinker, Kiri. Perhaps you'll be able to easily solve this riddle that we could not. Yeah. Kiri's sharp. You might find a more interesting take on it if she comes in without any confusing biases. That's right. Kiri-san, would you mind giving us your honest opinion after reading the epitaph? I doubt you'll find it useful. You all give me too much credit. That's fine. Just say whatever comes into your head. Let's hear your thoughts. The hints you give always help me out when I'm worried. Ah, so I've been helpful? It's nice to finally hear about this now. Come on. Don't I always thank you? You two sure are close. I'm jealous. And the rest of us would also love to hear these hints of yours. We're just killing time anyway, so relax, okay? Kiri was so disturbed at being praised so highly for something so strange, but they had all the time in the world. Realizing that this was just to waste time, she decided to accept the role that she had been given. I'm sure I'll say something off the mark, but, well, here, I'll put forward my ideas. Indeed. What did you mean in the beginning about how it could be divided into 3 parts? Whoa. Well, I mean what I said. I think that overall the epitaph can be divided into 3 sections. First, there are 5 lines up until "There sleeps the key to the gold." Up until this point is the first part, which directs you to the location of the key. And then there's the part formed by the 11 lines up until the 10th twilight, which refer to the location of the Golden Land itself. And the remaining 6 lines make up the part after the Golden Land has been reached. Oh, this song is so good. By right-clicking System Tips and Portrait, you can... Ah, she did it into 3 parts, okay. I see. It can be divided into 3 parts about the key, the Golden Land, and the Golden Land's treasure. Even we have been able to grasp that much. The 3 sections that refer to the key, the door, and the treasure. Nisan, don't butt it any more than you have to. Let Kiri speak her ideas freely. Kiri, please, continue. We see it the same way you do so far. So then... I wonder about the meaning of that thing in the beginning. The beloved hometown. Actually, you know what? We haven't read this epitaph in a long time, have we? Behold the Sweetfish River running through my beloved hometown. You who seek the Golden Land, follow its path downstream in search of the key. As you travel down it, you will see a village. In that village, look for the shore the two will tell you of. There sleeps the key to the Golden Land. I wonder... So she mentioned beloved hometown here. I wonder if beloved hometown is the other house in Rokkenjima. Normally that would refer to where grandfather lived, right? Since father went through all the trouble of telling us that it's beloved, we can imagine that it's a hometown he had strong feelings for. Did father come from Odawara? Odawara is definitely where he was born, but I don't think that's the hometown he loved. I imagine all of us siblings have the same place in mind. Right. This probably isn't Odawara. I mean, it's probably Rokkenjima. From what I've heard, he had a very fun time as a youth. Being made the Ushimiya family head was probably Dad's greatest bit of misfortune in life. Probably. Father didn't actually want to become the head. So where is that place? Is there a river there where sweet fish swim? Maybe there was at a time. There's been lots of development there since then, and the sweet fish might have disappeared. It would be extremely difficult to investigate whether sweet fish were there during grandfather's boyhood years. And there probably isn't just a single river. I believe we all gave this a thorough investigation geographically. You even went to the actual place to investigate directly, right, Ava? That was only a vacation. But the townscape had changed completely since father's time. After all, it was caught up in that war, wasn't it? By now, even precisely locating the place father lived in is impossible. I imagine that if father went there himself now, even he wouldn't be able to pick out the place he'd lived anymore. Well, after all, these guys have also gone through a remarkable recovery. Does that part about a Sweetfish River bring any place name clearly to mind? Well, yeah. After all, they're sweet fish, right? People say they live in rivers with clean water, so there are countless rivers that might work. Any stream Dad innocently went sweet fish fishing in was probably buried by development later. It'd be different if we had a map from before the war, or a person who knew a lot about the area about how the area was before the war, but it probably isn't something like that. What do you mean? Behold the Sweetfish River running through my beloved hometown. You who seek the Golden Land, follow its path downstream in search of the key. After these two lines, there's a single blank line. Something is being presented with just these two lines. That's really good fighting game advice. That's really good fighting game advice. Things have spaces and gaps for a reason. Not everything connects into everything else. Pay attention to the negative space in things as much as you pay attention to what's actually printed there. What if the next three lines continue based upon that something? What do you mean something is being presented? I don't know. At any rate, what we can get from these two lines alone isn't something vague, like the question of which river it might be, but the clear presentation of the keyword river. It may be that this isn't a river with water flowing down through it. The Sweetfish River might be some kind of metaphor. I also think it might be something kanji related. So I've thought about this, and I think a lot of this riddle... Again, I talked about it in episode 1, when they presented everybody's name and how they were written, right? And I know that's a normal Japanese custom thing. It got me thinking that something like this, right? Like, Sweetfish River... I don't want to Google it in case I accidentally, like, spike it in a Google search. But if we would, like, take what kanji would represent Sweetfish and River, does that spell out someone's name? Does that somehow spell out, like, Beatrice, right? Like, could that be that he's just saying Beatrice is the key? What sort of impressions does the word Sweetfish give? Sweetfish are like salmon. They're freshwater fish, but they go out in the ocean right after they're born. When they get big, they go back to the river to live there. Oh, they go back to the river. So the Sweetfish River might not be a river, it might be a place that... Oh, it might be a place that Kinzo was born in, and then he went somewhere else, and then returned to. A place that Kinzo returned to. And then they spawn there and end their lives there. Well, they leave their home at one point, but when they get big, they come back and lay eggs. It might be able to link that to the idea of clan... Might be able to link that to the idea of clan prosperity. Oh? They're freshwater fish, but they can live in the ocean. I didn't know that. I figured river fish wouldn't be able to live in the sea. And they are called sweet fish because they have a pleasant aroma. I've never eaten one, but I have heard they can be quite delicious when grilled with salt. That kind of sounds like Rokkenshima, but I don't know. I mean, Rokkenshima would make the most sense, right? And it says follow that river downstream. So what could that mean? It could mean... It could mean just his lineage. The Sweetfish River might just be his lineage. And if you follow the lineage all the way down to the bottom, you get Maria, Jessica, Battler, and George. What's that, Nazi? You've never eaten salt-grilled sweetfish. That sounds really good. You should try it sometime soon. It is a food for commoners, hardly appropriate for your mouth. This is just my wild idea, but the impression I get from a Sweetfish River makes me suspect a family tree. It's like the VN heard me. It always happens this way. The sweetfish go out into the ocean for a time, but they return to the river where they were born to spawn, right? It reminds me of myself. Yeah, it's because she wrote it. You're right. By this point, I can confess that I've sometimes suspected that it refers to you and Maria. I see. If you follow the river downstream, you will find a village. If you go down the family tree, all you find is Maria's name. Only her name has... Chat, I think we got it. Oh, wait, I'm not opening Grand Archive packs, huh? Should probably fix that. That phone call distracted me. Yep. So it does have to do with the names. The Grand Archive X Umineko collab would be legendary. Oh, that would be so sick. Have like a mage, a sorceress. Beatrice is like a mage. That would be so sick. Only her name has that character Father uses. So is Maria the key? Isn't that right? But as you all know, Father doesn't like Maria. He almost never speaks with her. And in the past, Father told me to give Maria a completely different name. You'll see a village. In that village, look for the shore the two will tell you of. There sleeps the key to the Golden Land. Father told me to give Maria a completely different name. I just decided to go with Maria on my own. Father was very mad about that. Interesting. Given that, it's very hard to imagine that he would reference her name in his precious epitaph about who would succeed his wealth and inheritance. Have you ever let Maria read it? Yes, of course. But it looked as though she didn't have a clue. She didn't have a clue, and she kept going on about the same occult stuff. About how it was a resurrection ceremony for the witch. A connection between Father and Maria. Certainly they do share that occult hobby, but they never interacted. I can't imagine that it refers to Maria either. What sticks out to me is how he went out of his way to add beloved to that first line. Oh. Wait. His beloved family tree wouldn't be these idiots. His beloved family tree would be the family that he had with his mistress, Beatrice. Like you all said just now, if father was reluctant about becoming the Ushiromiya family head, would he have had fond memories to anything connected to that? I don't think it can be Odawara, which represents the Ushiromiya head family. I believe the word beloved here at the beginning must refer to a place full of very important memories to father. Well, that's fine. It would be hard to pinpoint since we don't even have a trace of map from that time. Beloved equals Beatrice? Maybe. But at any rate, there would probably be several rivers with sweet fish swimming in them near Dad's hometown during his youth. That's if we're looking for a river with water flowing down it, right? And then, go on, Kiri. I don't really understand the three lines starting with, if you follow the river downstream, you will find a village. It's probably linked to the two lines about the Sweetfish River. I imagine it's something we'd understand automatically if we knew what that river really was. Until we figure that out, it's probably useless to try to solve these three lines any further. So, we're stuck unless we know what the Sweetfish River really is. And there's no guarantee it even means a literal river. Seriously? What's up with the sweetfish? Did Dad even like to eat them? Or does it have some special meaning? It's pointless to read too deeply into it. If you don't have both a micro and macro perspective, your field of vision grows narrow. This is good League of Legends advice. It might be better to be flexible to avoid thinking too deeply. Focus on an abstract image of a river where fish swim, or something that can flow, up or down. Something that can flow. Then the answer behind the Sweetfish River passes through the next three lines and makes its way to the key to the Golden Land. If you think about it this way, I wonder if it was a mistake to split it into three parts. There's actually 4 parts. Go down the Sweetfish River, find the key to the Golden Land, journey to the Golden Land, and the treasure of the Golden Land. Truly intriguing. Well, you've gotten this far. Would you mind continuing and telling us your opinion on the most central portion of the epitaph? Up to the point where we reach the Golden Land on the 10th twilight? That's the most symbolic, and also the most disturbing part. Since the word sacrifice keeps coming up, I can't help but think it has something to do with Father's occult ceremonies. How do you see it, Kiri? Kiri recrossed her arms several times, peering into the paper with the epitaph copied onto it as though she was looking through it. This is very difficult. It starts with the one who obtains the key. So you probably won't be able to continue without knowing what that key means. I'll have to give up on that point, but I'll take a shot at trying to solve it anyways. Just like how the Sweetfish River isn't necessarily a river with water flowing down it, it's also doubtful that this key is actually something shaped like a key. Right. It might also be a code or a keyword. After all this, the key isn't something that gets stuck into a keyhole. It's something that selects 6 people to be sacrifices for the first twilight. In that sense, we can say for sure that this key isn't being used to open the door to the Golden Land. But what a disturbing key it is. A key can choose 6 human sacrifices. How would a key select anything? Do you spin it like a roulette? This key indicates a certain group of 6 people. It's interesting that he brought up roulette, because that is the term that Kinzo has used multiple times, the Devil's Roulette. Maybe Hideyoshi knows more about this than he's letting on. This key indicates a certain group of 6 people. No. We should say that it indicates a certain group of 6 things. If this doesn't mean a literal command to offer sacrifices, for example, it could be an anagram. Anagram? You mean playing around with letters? Yes. I've been thinking about this ever since Rosa started talking about the family tree. Excuse me. And about how village was part of Maria-chan's name. It seems that ever since the words beloved hometown came up, Rudolph has assumed that this epitaph points to some coordinates or some other geographical feature. But that might not be the case. This could be some kind of puzzle, or maybe playing with letters. Forgive me, how does one play with letters? Oh, well, it's like sucker my barrels. What do you get when you take out the E's and the R's? Like that. Well, you were raised well, Natsuhi, so you probably don't know. Shoutouts to Silent Hooper. Is that why he was Rudolph Ushiromiya? Because of a nuts joke? Mary? Take out the E's and the R's, huh? Stop it. It's an undignified game, inappropriate for you. Only Natsuhi didn't get it and had a blank look on her face. Because he called himself that in the auction tournament. It seems she'd only guessed the answer had to be something undignified, going by Rudolph and Ava's Snickers. Natsuhi, it's something like this. This is just something from Maria's Book of Riddles, okay? Now, that text was a screenshot he tried to show a combo breaker on stream. Oh, I remember that. I remember when he held up the phone. Did y'all see the Jatsu tweet that was like, hey gamers, what is the optimal brightness that your phone needs to be to to show something on stream? And then like the next day it was like, thanks everyone, and it was like him with the Uma Musume on the uni setup. That was a good sequence of tweets. If that was natural, that's peak. If that was planned, that's even better. There's this thing called a Tanuki notebook. It's a notebook written like a code with lots of tas mixed in. If you remove all the tas, then the true paragraph pops up. It's a game like that. Oh. Hold on now. I wonder if there's a way to decode this. Are they like removing the characters in Maria's name from the entire epitaph? Yeah, you could probably do something like that, right? If we have this in Japanese... These are the characters in Maria's name, which I don't think actually show up anywhere in the epitaph. No, right? Like... Well, you could take out Ma, Ri, and A, but like, that's not going to do it either. Unless Maria's not the key. Pause. Batora. That's in there. That's in there. But that's not gonna change the meaning terribly much. Some of George's characters are in there too, but these aren't phonetic, right? Like kanji for names is not phonetic. They represent like things and are to be pronounced in a certain way, right? So like I'm thinking hold on. 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Offer, who, remain, and Kill. Ah, so close. So close.
Is that the famous Rysair, the bubble mage?
Thank you, Zuzu, for the resub. 48 months, 4 big years of support. Thank you so much. I am the famous bubble mage. If top 1 is getting prizing, I will get 2nd. If top 4 is getting prizing, I will get 5th. If top 8 is getting prizing, I will get 9th. And if top 16 is getting prizing, I will get 17th. It is written. The Yeti regional just got uncapped. They might actually have a top 32 qualifier payoff, which is very big, but they need like 200 people for it or something like that, or 250, I think. But I'm excited. I'm excited for the new build too. I think it'll actually be pretty sweet. I don't think I lose much by having what I have in there, how it is, and I think I gain a lot. Regionals are getting bigger than Ascent Ontario, for real. I do think, though, it kind of sucks. I do think there'll be a lot of Rye at the online regional, because I think, you know, online regional, probably a lot of people who can't travel, probably a lot of people who aren't putting a lot of money into the game, right? And Rye is like a great budget option. All you need is Dungeon Guide, really. So, like, I'm hoping there's not too much Rye, because that is a bad matchup for me, but we'll see how it goes. I'm excited. I mean, it'll probably be like all day Sunday, but same with Sylvie. Yeah, Sylvie is also a pretty popular pick, huh? Which they're both like they're both good into Xander. But I think with the Assassin's Ripper tech, I think I actually have some I have some runway to like turn like 4 or 5, just go like Assassin's Ripper, prep it, slice and dice for 15, and then Light Weavers for 6, and like 21U out of nowhere. Maybe. Oh, I see. Nazi finally realized the answer to the undignified riddle Rudolph had posed, and her face grew red as she hung her head in embarrassment. So maybe kill actually means remove in that sense, right? Yeah, I also thought that. It's possible that the key to the Golden Land is a word with 6 characters. In other words, the ta from the Tanuki notebook is actually 6 characters here. Why do they say 6 characters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, 6 chosen by the key. The 6 chosen by the key would be the 6 that get cut out. Playing with letters, is it? In Japan, it really feels like a child's game, but apparently a stylish form of humor among the intellectuals in the English world. It's easy to imagine the father was interested in it. But by this point, I quickly lose my ability to understand it. Up until this part, it may have been filled with mysteries, but it was extremely sequential. Sweetfish River, go down it, and then find the key. All of this is extremely sequential. As a result, we can guess that we gain a 6-character key. 6-character key could be Maria, M-A-R... No, excuse me. That's not. Battler is... No, Battler's 7 characters. George is 6 characters, but I don't think that's the key. Beatrice is more than 6 characters. Beatrice. Kinda 6 characters, not really. Like, it's like 7 or 5. But in this case, we don't know what we kill the 6 characters from. That's right. Where do we pull the 6 characters from? It doesn't tell us. On the second Twilight, there are those who remain. Which means that at the very least, something has a limited number of characters. You could read it like it's telling you to continue with the remaining characters after the first 6 characters are removed. And yet we don't know what this something is, even though it should have been shown to us at the beginning. Here's an interesting thought. If this parallels what's happening in Umineko right now, right? The 6 characters that were removed: Kumasawa, Goda, Kanon, Shannon, Genji, and Kinzo. How do we interpret this? Goda. Like, do you take all of these characters out of the epitaph? Can we even do that? Hold on. We're widening. And take a screenshot. We remove... Hold on. We'll do a little exercise here. Yeah, the kanji for their names, right? Like, let's actually think about this for a second. And ideally, we can maybe get something out of it if we are... Even though we don't speak or read Japanese. So here's who died, right? So if we're going to remove the characters of the characters that the names of the characters that died, right? So we have Kinzo. Kind of impossible, huh? I know I saw some of these characters in here, though. Maybe not. Wait. See, like, right, this right here. This right here is from Kinzo's name. Hold on, I'm gonna do a really quick once-over. I don't think it'll matter, though, because I don't think I'll be able to read it. Even if I do. Let's say this was correct and I did it correctly, both of which are kind of a stretch. But you do see that some of their names appear in here. And get this. Okay, I'm not actually going to go through the full exercise, just because it'll probably take me an hour and I'll fall asleep. But get this and hear me out. The 6 characters who died in this episode form a different key than the 6 characters that die in episode 1. In episode 1, you know, these folks die. And then they have different things that you can omit from the epitaph, right? And let's say if this is so expertly written, and right, normally I would throw this away as an impossibility. But because this is supposed to be the peakest of peak fiction and the most well-written, is it possible that this epitaph is so elegantly written that by removing 8 different sequences of characters from it, it tells a completely different story every time? So, like, the 6 who died this time, you remove all of their character names from the epitaph, and it tells you something. And then the same original text, if you remove 6 different characters worth of names from them, granted, there's a lot of overlap, right? If we take the characters, right, there's a lot of overlap on these. But these symbols appear all over the epitaph. I almost want to print the epitaph and, like, actually do this exercise. But one, I know that, so, like, I'm gonna put my stamp here right now. That probably does something. And they'll probably explain it in the game if it does something. Yeah, I mean, that would just be so peak, right? Like, they were all kneeling in respect. The image from, I think it's from Baki. Yeah, I mean, it would just be so good. But if you do that, and it works out, and they explain it, I just want to say, I listed it as one of the 1,000 possibilities that I listed as a possibility. But that would be so good. Maybe they do. Are we wrong in our assumption that that's playing with letters? Everyone crossed their arms and fell silent. It felt like they were about to reach a novel understanding they hadn't managed before, but they stumbled just one step short. Then, Hideyoshi's stomach rumbled heartily. That silence was broken by laughter. Sorry. Strangely enough, by spinning the gears of my head for a change, my stomach's gone completely empty. Looks like I can't stand missing breakfast. Haha. Natsuhi, is there anything to eat? There should at least be enough set aside for breakfast. I will prepare it. I'm also starving, and I bet those brats above us are the same. Still, I doubt there's enough for 18 people here. Much less a full 3 meals, right? That's right. It'll be a long journey till tomorrow. Maybe we better take a trip back to the mansion and fish around for some canned food or something in the kitchen. There's nothing more than crackers and snacks here, but if that will be sufficient, I can get them ready for you all. But with this many people, there might not be any left for lunch. That will do for now. Would you mind getting those ready? Dude, I'm hung up on this epitaph thing. It looked like the men had been taken over with an appetite that stopped all thought. The atmosphere grew more peaceful and the epitaph investigation team split up for the time being. But Ava kept staring at the paper the epitaph was written on like she was going to burn a hole through it. Playing around with the letters was nothing more than a theory of mine. There's a chance it's mistaken. Ava, don't take it too seriously, okay? Thank you. I'll keep doing this on my own. Would you mind leaving me alone? Ava spoke coldly. Kiri didn't bother anymore and instead went to help Natsuhi prepare breakfast. Nei-san, should we also help prepare breakfast? Then you... Shouldn't we also help prepare breakfast? You go help. I'm busy solving this. Oh, sorry. Then I'll help. Good grief. How can you be like that? Oh, whoa, Ava. The Ushiromiya family headship will be given to the person who solves this epitaph. It looks like you've given up from the beginning, as if it has nothing to do with you. But if you can solve it, there's a chance even you'll be able to receive the headship. This is a chance to steal everything from Nissan. Why aren't you taking such a once-in-a-lifetime chance more seriously? Rosa hung her head, unsure as to how she should answer. Too late. She regretted carelessly speaking to her sister when she was in a bad mood. If you've noticed anything, say so. Even though Kiri and I were thinking hard, you just kept nodding your head, didn't you? Come on. Isn't there anything you've noticed? Come on. Don't you think this part's strange? What's that? Strange. Just that this whole section's written like a journey to the Golden Land, right? You reach the Golden Land and then you receive its treasures? Yeah. What's your point? You think there's some sort of keyword tied to those treasures? No, not the treasures themselves. Look, in the 10th Twilight, isn't how you receive the treasures strange? Why does it say we'll receive the treasures once and for the last time? If we only get them once, then there's no point in telling us it's the last time. And the same thing in reverse. Oh, but I'm probably splitting hairs over nothing if you think about it. This is father we're talking about after all. He probably just said that way to make it sound more dramatic. No, that's big. Oh no. Boring. Oh? What's boring? My. What on earth is this child grumbling about? He's probably annoyed by all the tips you gave Battler, madam. Not really. That doesn't annoy me. On the contrary, I'm happy to see that useless Battler finally reach a level where he can match me. Oh, did Battler and I get a little too close? Perhaps us old fogies had best leave you young'uns alone. When Virgilia and Renove giggled and cackled, Beatrice's irritation meter finally reached its limit. Alright, enough with everyone laughing at me. Renove, vanish for a while. Disappear. Go. Certainly. Then I shall rest for the time being. Renov bowed his head, still laughing, and vanished. After that, all that remained was the grumpy and irritated figure of Beatrice, and Virgilia, who was coolly enjoying her tea. When you said there are no more than 18 people on the island, you actually cornered yourself. I knew it. I did have this feeling it might be a bit too early. I suppose I was right after all, wasn't it? Excuse me. If you had led them further astray first, things might have been different. But as it was, the trump card was a real waste. You ended up rousing him instead. In addition to denying the witch, Battler had possessed a second victory condition. One of explaining everything without suspecting one of the 18. It was at that point, when he'd been tossed about by two opposing goals, that his heart should have been at its weakest. However, Beatrice used the red carelessly, proclaiming that there were no more than 18 people. Because of that, Battler had been forced to suspect one of the 18, and he had finally begun to build up the resolve he needed to accept that. Battler was stubborn, but that was exactly why fissures would run all through him, like breaking china when he was struck in a fragile spot. Goo. Hey Lid, thank you for the resub. 30 months of support. I appreciate it. Good stuff at Evo. I hope you had fun as well. Was super happy to see your performance and your results. I got to catch a couple matches. But that itself should have been his greatest weak point, but... Did I get a little too careless after my complete victory last time? Yes, you were too careless. The last game was a difficult one for Battler, but it seems like this game will become a difficult one for you. A broken vase will never return to its original form, so it would be more constructive to think of a next move, rather than regretfully picking up the pieces. However, now that Battler has figured out as much as he has, how should I plot against him? Oh, your troubled face is an even better snack than Renov's cookies. You and Battler, and even Renov, are treating me like sweets now, even though I'm not sweet at all. Ah? What's ah? What a shameful childlike face that she would never have shown in front of Battler. Beatrice rolled her head around on top of the table. Teacher, at least give me a hint. Oh, ah. Oh, what kind of hint? If you know some really good move that'll leave Battler speechless and make him want to accept me. How many chapters till Golden Fantasia? A lot. We're in episode 3, probably about halfway through it. And there are 8 episodes, and each one has like 20 chapters in it. So, you know, probably like 100 chapters. If you know some really good move that'll leave better speech, I won't ask you to say it outright, so even if it's just a hint. Oh, no, I can't. I'm on Battler's side right now. So I couldn't teach you something that would give you an advantage. Come on. Don't be so stingy. Your disciple's in trouble, right? I seem to remember you brazenly boasting that you had surpassed your teacher. Please act like an old person and give me just a bit of your crafty ideas. Please? It's mean if you only help Battler. My. You're still a spoiled child. But it's true that I may have given Battler a few too many hints. It did serve as a scolding to you. But perhaps it was a little too much support for a fair game. Yeah, isn't that right? Please, teacher. Just a little hint now. Ooh. This is only a hint. Think about what it means by yourself, okay? Yeah, I'll think about it myself. So please give me one that'll leave Battler down in the dumps, teacher. Considering how she acted like a great and mighty witch in front of Battler, the way she acted when he wasn't around was truly pathetic. Virgilia sighed at how childish Beto was, despite all of the time that had passed. Then, just a hint. Do you know of Aesop's fable, The North Wind and the Sun? Of course. It's a story about how the North Wind and the Sun challenge each other to see who can steal the cloak off of a traveler, right? That's right. Violent, impatient methods aren't necessary. Aren't necessarily the best decisions in all cases. You don't have to tell me that. I've already reflected on the mistakes I made when I was too anxious to achieve victory. Think well about what this means. And furthermore, there's one point that Battler seems to be misunderstanding a bit. But he isn't the only one. Do you understand the victory condition of this game? I'll be honest, I don't think anyone understands the victory condition of this game. What else is there? Other than making Battler surrender? See? You're already wrong there. How is that wrong? Your victory condition isn't making Battler surrender. Isn't it making Battler accept your existence? What's this? You want me to butter him up, begging him to accept me as a witch? How foolish. I haven't sunk that low. Beatrice growled like a dog in a bad mood. Virgilia shrugged her shoulders, snickering at her disciple, who was as short-tempered as ever. That is my hint. For the rest, you'll have to consider deeply on your own. In any event, your moves up until now will not work on Battler. A significant tactical adjustment will probably be required. I don't need you to tell me that. I don't have a clue what you mean by the north wind and the sun. But at any rate, I realize I'll have to alter my course. I'll introduce a scheme clever enough to surprise even you, teacher. Oh, I look forward to it. I wonder how Battler will tackle that. I wish you good luck as well. After Battler, you mean? Okay, here we go. Young Ava. Are you going to give up and resign already? I guess you are that tired. If only you'd just grab a futon and sleep. As my mind grew vague and I pretended to fight the drowsiness while sinking deeper and deeper into the sofa, I scolded myself. You also dreamed about stealing the position of family head from Kraus, right? Even though my magic's given you a chance, are you already throwing it away? You could say that, but this riddle is really hard. Even a wire puzzle would be better. At least in that case, you know for sure that it's solvable. But in the case of this epitaph riddle, we've been given no reason to be sure of that. I might just be fighting a useless battle. Still hazy, I looked at the notebook I'd been holding this whole time. It was open to a page with the epitaph, which I must have stared at hard enough to burn holes in it so many hundreds of nights I'd lost count. That page is truly a door. On the other side lies the Golden Land, a place I've never wanted to drag myself to, I have wanted to drag myself to, no matter the effort, ever since I was a child. And that place I was never able to reach. Am I touching the door with both hands? With the book? No. The door right there in front of me, ready to be opened, and yet still unable to reach the other side? That's right. Your hand is already on the door. Come on, open it. Open it with all of your strength. And read the characters written on the door. Open it. With all my strength? Read the characters written on the door? Strain your eyes. See through to the thing beyond the epitaph written in the notebook. The beloved hometown definitely won't betray our expectations. The only past father held dear happened during his childhood years. That's right. Then what about Sweetfish River? There are several rivers where they swim, and there's reason to doubt that this just refers to the one closest to where father lived. If we take out our map and start calculating which rivers the Sweetfish were closest, things will quickly get vague, and we won't be able to narrow it down. Didn't you say it yourself? You said it didn't have to be a river with water. If the word sweetfish is too complicated, why not forget it? Think of a river. A river. Linking it with a family tree wasn't a bad idea. Try thinking about how to link a river with something else along those lines. A river with something else. It isn't a river? But where else could sweetfish swim? Oh, but if we're talking about places sweetfish can swim, then maybe the ocean has something to do with this. Did my husband even say that they go out to the ocean, even though they're river fish? I don't think that's right. To the ocean. No. But... Huh? Whoa, listen to this track. Hold on. This track goes sicko mode. Hey, Mango. Did you notice? But that's just a faint memory. There's supposed to be a room for storing books in this building, right? If you investigate, you can make sure. If that's the Sweetfish River, and if the key might be a 6-character word, then could the key actually be resting in that river? I don't know. Anyway, I have to search in an atlas. If I even knew that, I don't know from what I should take the 6 characters. You really don't know? Think deeply. We're pretty smart, so our ideas are solid. Don't think of it like it's something as massive as the riddle the epitaph, but like it's a child's riddle. Men are always children, no matter how old they get. Even if father has advanced into old age, that doesn't change the fact that he's essentially a child at heart. Throw away your awe of father. Think of this like it's worthless, infantile game with riddles, like the ones Maria suddenly brought out to the boat. Riddles. Worthless, infantile. Huh. I'm sure that's what it was. Wait, I'm sure, if my memory isn't wrong, that it's probably the case. No, I don't have to rely on my vague memory. I should be able to figure it out immediately by searching the library. We've probably already noticed the answer. All that's left is to investigate whether it's correct or not. Come on, Ava. Let's go to the library, making sure nobody sees us. There, we should find a mountain of thick books that didn't fit in Father's study. I'm sure we'll find a book that answers our question. Quickly. This is the first and last chance we'll ever get to make our dreams come true. When Natsu tried to lay a blanket over her, Ava suddenly jumped up. Oh, I'm sorry. It looks like I woke you. Ava, if you're sleepy, don't overdo it. You rest first. Thank you. I'm just going to the bathroom for a bit to wash my face. You should take it easy and rest. You're just going to make yourself feel worse, you know. Told you I'm fine. I'll be right back. After leaving only those words behind, I rapidly left the lobby. The lobby was partitioned off by a door, so as soon as I went to the corridor, they could no longer see me. The library was next to the servant room. Father always owned a vast book collection, but ever since he started to become engrossed with his occult hobby, that collection grew even larger, so that the normal books suitable for a normal study had been forced out as his study overflowed. The so-called library was mostly used as a storage room for those normal books. They were all thick, like complete encyclopedias for intellectuals. But that was very convenient for me, now that I was investigating something. Oh, gun, well, that's right, they all have guns. I entered softly, and just in case, I checked the room with my gun ready, making sure that there were no suspicious people there. Then I locked it from the inside. I actually wasn't thinking that the murderer might be hiding somewhere. What scared me was the thought that one of my siblings might hear what I was investigating. My heart had started racing before I realized it. I was half asleep just a moment ago, so I didn't realize how significant this thing I noticed was. But as I gradually became aware, my heart started to feel like it was about to explode. I wonder if any of the other siblings have noticed this. I don't think Kraus and Rudolph will notice, but I don't know about Kairi. She has extraordinarily good intuition. And I don't know about Rosa either. Rosa's stupid too. She's always been, incredibly so. Really? I'd say she's wise enough to make you think she was stupid, so that she didn't earn herself unnecessary malice. Here it is. I wonder if we'll find it in this one. I pulled the book out and flopped through the pages. So this is a Sweetfish River. I see. This is what the Sweetfish River means. Don't dawdle around. Research further. Yes, I understand. If you follow the river downstream, you will find a village. By using the character that, does he mean a town or something? That's just an area of dense population, so there could be any number of those. Why have you stopped thinking? Oh, is this too much work for you? If only you just give up. If only you just hand the Yushirimiya headship over to Kiri. No, I don't want to. I will become the head. This is, my first and last chance. What is this village? What does it mean? Do you find one if you go down the river? What is the river? In the village, look for the shore where the two will tell you of. This means shore. Get it? I understand. Shore. Shore. Right before my eyes, the piece that I hadn't been able to understand at all began to snap into place all by themselves. I couldn't even remember to close my open mouth. My throat grew completely dry. Is it really okay for this to be the answer? Really? Really? But this isn't 6 characters at all. I'm absolutely sure this is the answer. But this doesn't reach 6 characters at all. Did you stop thinking again? In that case, think of a way you could read it with 6 characters. If you can't think of one, then research it. There has to be an answer. You must not doubt that. Believing in that too much for you? If only you just cry yourself to sleep then. You can just give up and die. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh. 6 characters. I found it. This is the key to the Golden Land. Yes. This is the key to the Golden Land. The key to our childhood dreams. The one keyhole this key can be stuck in is that place. It has to be what the offering of the sacrifices means. I'm sure you get it by now, right? What could it be? Whoa. What could it be? She found it in the library. Alright, let's talk about this for a second. Pause. Pause. So this is something that she found while researching in the library that at its surface level can't be expressed with 6 characters, but she found a way to express it with 6 characters. There's 2 ways I interpret that. Right? So let's take, for example, someone's name written in kanji. Eva. That's 2 characters. Eva's written with kanji characters. Rudolph. Rudolph. Yeah, I guess in Japanese it would be read like that. Or this is Rudolph, excuse me. This is Kurausu. Duh. You know, Rudolfu. But what could any of these be read as 6 characters? Probably not, right? Even Beatrice can't really be read as 6 characters. So in English, none of their names are 6 characters either, right? Kraus is, but it's not 6 unique characters. Rudolph is 6 characters. And so is George. George, though, is not 6 unique characters. Rudolph uniquely is 6 unique characters if you write it in English. Rudolph. So if Rudolph is the key, and you take, I mean, taking all the, like, characters in Rudolph out of the epitaph is probably, like, you probably don't get anything that's legible. Let's see where she's going. So Ava's seen whatever the river is before in the past. Yeah, Ava's seen it in the past. Ava's the one who's seen it in the past, so it can't be that castle. And it's something that, at face value, can't really be expressed with 6 characters. but she found a way to do it. Uh-oh. My heart leapt, because there, gaping wide, was an open mouth in the eerie darkness. What's this? Is it the forest? Forest is 6 characters. When I strained my eyes, peering into the darkness, I saw something that looked like a light switch. In addition, there was a switch with open and close written on it. Whoa, she found the door to the Golden Land? When I resolutely pushed the switch, rough lights like you'd find in a coal mine turned on sporadically, making a staircase that stretched underground come hazily into view. Eerily enough, it looked even more gloomy with the lights turned on. Near the light switch was the open and close switch. It would probably open or close this, but if the open part happened to be broken, I might be shut away in this creepy underground area for all eternity. So for the time being, I didn't touch that switch, and as I readied my gun again, I slowly went down the stairs. Whoa. The ceiling was very high, so it didn't feel cramped. On the contrary, it felt as though a cool breeze was blowing upwards, and the creepiness seemed to form a sort of aura. I readied my gun and carefully stared forwards. I descended the stairs. Also, this means the Golden Land entrance, or whatever place she just found, the river, is on Rokkenjima and is not terribly far from the mansion. The walls, the stairs, the lights, all of them were very old-fashioned. It was easy to suspect that this has been built back when the mansion had been constructed on the island. There were cracks in the ceiling, and the water clung to the walls, constantly dripping down. That water fell into a gutter that had been set up alongside the stairs, then quickly and silently flowed into the underground darkness. It was as though it was telling me to go faster. She's under some water. Is this a well? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, right? Like, there's definitely a source of water here. Likely above where she's descending. The staircase kept turning back on itself. I don't know how far down I've gone, but I think it's much deeper than 1 floor. Eventually, a rough metal door showed itself, and there, characters had been written in a dark red paint. They had probably been written a long time ago. On the 10th twilight at Journey's End, you shall attain the power of the Golden Land's treasures, once, and for the last time. What the fuck? My heart, which was already about to explode, jumped about even more as soon as I recognized the deep red characters. There's no mistake. This is the last stop. Father's Golden Land. I claimed my throbbing heart, somehow regaining my composure, and readied my gun again. But since, in the end, I couldn't open the door with my gun held in both hands, I lowered the gun, carefully hid my breathing, and opened the door. Whoa. This place is... My first impression when I saw the room was that it might be linked to one of the rooms in the mansion. That's right. It had exactly the same atmosphere about it as the sealed VIP room on the 2nd floor. But this was underground, so there were no windows. Okay, pause. Ava's not the first to find this room. And the characters that we think are looping... So that would be Beatrice, Battler, Maria. I feel like they've all found this room already. And once you find this room, you're allowed to play the game. But this was underground, so there were no windows. There was only the solemn light of a grand chandelier. But even though it was dimly lit by the faint light, the quality of the interior was more than enough to take your breath away. A bed with a canopy and a rocking chair that looked like it would be comfortable to sit in, an extravagant sofa and carpet. The room was like a dream every girl yearns for at least once. And yet, since it was an underground hidden room with no windows, it felt more like the hidden house of a witch. I'd never swallowed the legend of Beatrice, Witch of the Forest. However, after being shown this room, it certainly became hard to doubt that she actually had existed, and had lived in this room. Is someone there? Even though I was completely shocked by this room, I timidly searched this interior with my gun raised. And at the back of the room, I found it.
Ryar
At the
or
back of the
frickin'
room, I
sick.
found the
Hope you are
resub
well,
from
friend.
Rexcalibur. 6 months in a row, 8 months total. Thank you for the support, Rex. Hope you had a good time at Evo. Ryar, you're freaking sick. Hope you're well. I am doing pretty well. I'm a little under the weather, but nothing too bad. And enjoying this Umineko, trying to get better at fighting games. Thank you for the resub and all the support, friend. It was great, but I'm hella sick, literally. Damn. Yeah, I figured that would be a sickness bin. So the gold is in this room. My gas came out strangely, like a bunny being choked. After all, after finding something like this, no one would be able to stop that kind of stupid voice from leaking out. It's here. It's really here. Father's gold. On the opposite side of the canopy bed, it was piled up in a massive heap. It was a mountain of gold ingots. Of course, they weren't piled up carelessly in a way that would damage the dignity of this room. A beautiful scarlet satin weave was laid on the mountain of gold, creating a beautiful three-colored mix between the red, the gold, and the black of the deep darkness. It was as though, when the witch slept on this bed, the gold would be a respectful chamberlain waiting on her. Nobly, refinedly, gracefully, beautifully. It was attentively piled there with an imposing air. When I tried to grab a single gold ingot, I was surprised at its weight. It probably weighed about 10 kilograms. Just this ingot would probably be worth 10 million. The Ushiromiya family crest, the one-winged eagle, was lightly imprinted on it. It was hard to tell whether it had worn away or whether the impression had been made carelessly in the first place. But it was certainly the crest of the one-winged eagle. Just how many ingots were piled up here? By doing a quick count here and judging by the height, it had to be a few hundred at least. My mind's already gone blank, but I don't do the math well. Even a moderate guess would put this at about several billion. That's right. Of course. After all, there's 10 tons of gold, right? At the current value, that's more than 20 billion yen of gold. I found it before everyone else. I found it. In front of the mountain of gold, I spread my arms and looked up at the ceiling. A laugh without a trace of dignity flowed out from my entire body. I had no intention of laughing in a weird way, but I couldn't hold back the happy feeling that was flowing through me. My older brother probably wouldn't accept his loss just because I found this gold, but from now on, there would be no changing the fact that I had been the one to find it. To steal away the headship of the family, the more subtle bargaining would probably still be required. But after everything I've gone through until now, this is a completely trivial problem. Even if I lose out on the Ushiromiya family headship, I've already got 20 billion worth of gold. At times, I thought that money is such a worthless thing. I thought there were so many things in this world that you can't buy with money. But now I see that that's just a lie. Based. Just an excuse that have-nots make for themselves. Oh no, Ava, don't fall into it. Don't fall into the mindset. In front of the mountain of gold, I finally realized something so obvious. By using this money, I can give birth to all the happiness in the world. With this money, my husband's company is already saved. We will always be happy as a family. And I can even leave a vast sum of money to George. And the rest of the relatives will eventually be ruined and disappear. At that time, George will use this gold. And just like grandfather did... And just like grandfather did, he will raid in like TJ Eevee with a viewer count of 8. Thank you for the raid, TJ. How you doing? Hope you are doing well. Welcome, raiders. We are just playing Umineko, When They Cry, episode 3. If you don't want to get spoiled, you may want to exit now. Shout out to TJ for the raid. Belated birthday raid. Thank you, thank you. Yes, my birthday was last weekend. It was a pretty good day. We're doing good, TJ. Thank you for the raid. George is the true successor to the Ushiromiya family. It happened. My wish was granted. Wow, Ava's crushing it with the voice acting. That dream I have wished for ever since I was born into this world as an Ushiromiya Ava has been granted completely at this moment. My husband and I will be happy for all eternity, and I can also give my only son George eternal happiness. There's no way I'll waste it on foolish pleasures. My older brother has chewed the Ushiromiya family to bits, but George and I will revive it. And that just means I truly have succeeded the Ushiromiya family headship. I was successful. I did it. Honey, George. Your mother finally succeeded. No one will be able to threaten us now. That's right. After this, never again will we be smothered by sad nights. Congratulations, me. Congratulations. Ushiromiya Eva. Right here, right now, the sad half of our life will have its heart's desire granted. All thanks to you. I was given this chance because of your magic. Because of that chance, I was able to make it here. Thank you. But my magic wouldn't have been granted if we both didn't believe in each other. So, it isn't just the power of my magic. This is our victory. Because of that, congratulations. Us. Who is she really? Thank you, me. Thank you, Ushiromiya Eva. I'm so glad I didn't give in before now. I'm glad that I didn't drown in sorrow and forget to keep struggling. No, this is my magic. Our magic. Your magic was the real thing. Beatrice, the witch of the forest, is nothing more than an illusion. You are the real witch, the wielder of real magic. That's right. Right now, you are the golden witch. Hold on. Is that Beatrice? Is Eva Beatrice? What's it mean? Ava decided to leave for the time being. When she climbed the stairs again, trying to leave the secret place, she saw a creepy... Oh, God. She saw a creepy, swaying human shadow blocking her path, and her dreamlike state was blown away. Loki was expecting Ghost Ava to transform into a monster. Yeah, I was expecting Ghost Ava to be Beatrice and, like, say, hey, you found it. Thanks for finding it for me. Bang. Oh, shit. Who is it? For an instant, she believed that the true master of this room, the real Beatrice, had appeared. It seemed that the other person was also holding a gun. The two of them were pointing the guns at each other. And eventually they realized who the other was. Rosa. Nesan. What are you doing in a place like this? That's my line. What business do you have in such a place? I shouldn't have given you that hint, Nesan. If I hadn't, I definitely would have been the first to reach this place. Too bad. It seemed that Rosa knew where this staircase went, and what was waiting ahead of her. You should talk. Even though I reached this place before you? I worried too much about the Sweetfish River. The Sweetfish part didn't really matter that much at all, did it? That isn't true. It was an excellent hint, wasn't it? Well, of course, maybe there's no need for it to be Sweetfish. Okay, so if they explain this, we might actually get a lot of insight into the epitaph. But when I heard that sweetfish are fish that go out into the sea, I was able to figure it out. What's inside? Why not see with your own eyes? It definitely won't betray your expectations. Don't be afraid, Nesan. I never had any interest in who becomes the head. I don't even care about the Ushiromiya family name. Honestly, I actually feel good about you stealing the headship from Kraus, who always was swaggering around because of it. Are you serious? Of course. I'm the outsider of the Ushiromiya siblings. Even if father had named me as the next head, there's no way Nesan would accept it. I try not to have such naive dreams. Let me see too, Nesan. This proof of your victory. As long as I receive the proper portion that the siblings agreed upon, I plan to proactively acknowledge you as the true victor in this game. If you shoot me, then you'll have this gold all to yourself, won't you? Well, the same goes for you. If you shoot me, this gold will all be yours. Bunka? For a tense moment, the sisters pointed their guns at each other. Eventually, after they sized up the glint in the other's eyes, they lowered their guns. Ava removed her finger from the trigger and held the gun upside down. It was a position that she couldn't quickly shoot from. When she saw that, Rosa held hers the same way. That's right. The plan of shooting the other and having all the gold to ourselves is attractive for both of us. But if one of us suddenly disappeared on this island while isolated by the typhoon, there would be a huge uproar. If we hid the corpse here, it probably wouldn't be found easily, but we couldn't be sure. No matter how many billion yen worth of gold is on the line, it isn't worth the risk of committing murder. On the contrary, that would give Kraus the others ammunition to ring us all for all our worth. I agree. It may have been a blessing in disguise that you're the one who showed up, instead of Nissan or Rudolph. You're the sibling I trust most. Thank you. And you're the sibling I trust most, Nissan. I want to see the gold. Want to have a peek? Now I feel like seeing it again too. Even though I saw it with my own eyes, it still doesn't feel real. Unless I see it together with you and confirm once more that it actually exists. It feels like the gold will turn into fog and disappear. Yeah, it's not going to be there. Ava started descending the staircase once more. However, she didn't carelessly expose her back to Rosa. Even though, at a glance, it looked like Rosa had lowered her guard, she definitely didn't show any signs of carelessness. Then they reached that room of the witch once more. Rosa also gasped, stunned speechless by the vast amount of gold. It is there. Rosa and Ava walked absent-mindedly through the rose garden. They left the guest house secretly, so they had to be careful when they returned. It was time to snap to it and keep their guards up. Congratulations, Nason. Thank you. You decided it, didn't you, Nason? 50% goes to the one bearing the title of successor of the headship. It certainly worked out well for you. Now that portion isn't Krause's. So your share is now 50% along with a quarter of the rest, for a total of 12.5 billion. Isn't that incredible? 2.5 billion is enough for me. Rudolph won't complain either. Krause will probably be the one to complain. Yeah, you're right. After all, Nissan is the de facto manager of Rokenshima. And since the gold was on these premises, even though it was the first to discover it, things might get complicated if I don't handle it cleverly. Interesting. So, here's a thought. They exited and they're like in the rose garden now. So it's probably somewhere near the rose garden. That tells me that it's either in that storage shed maybe, or remember when Maria marked the rose in the first chapter? Was she marking where these stairs were hidden? And then somebody went and visited them, and that's why the rose lost its marker, because like they moved it. Very interesting. Also, it looks like these two might be the ones who are close for the second Twilight, and they might be the next two to die. It won't get complicated. Didn't we give it our all in that discussion last night with that in mind? I wonder if it really will go that smoothly. I've already completely gotten over my excitement. How we manage everything from here isn't our real problem. Is the real problem. That is a problem for the new head of the Ushiromiya family. A problem for you to enjoy, Nason. It has nothing to do with me. That's some big talk coming from you. I'll support you as the second discoverer if you'll at least give me the early payment we decided upon. If you always give me that early payment we decided on, I'd like 150 million yen by March. Yes, that will be fine. If you support me, I'll graciously pay you that much. Second, sorry. If you support me, I'll graciously pay you that much. I'm not Nissan. Anyway, why don't we go and shock Nissan and the others, even if we cover up the actual location? I want to see Krause's shocked face as soon as I can. Wait a second, Rosa. Wait a while before telling everyone about it. Why? You idiot. Isn't it obvious? That is that haughty Krause and that sly Rudolph. This is Krause and Rudolph we're talking about. Even if we do announce it eventually, it's certainly too early now. Unless we carefully investigate how to make our next move, it's possible that all of the gold we finally found will be snatched away by them. Even though she was saying something extremely natural, Ava thought she was saying something extremely natural. So when she saw Rosa's expression suddenly cloud over, she was a little surprised. What are you unsatisfied about? You know what kind of person Kraus is.
姉さん、
Nesan,
それは
that's against the rules.
何の話よ。
What do you mean?
私たちは
Didn't we make a rule that whoever found the gold would announce it
そ
immediately?
れを渋れば
If you hesitate, the foundation of the rules will be destroyed,
何かの人
and that could lead to something worse in the future.
クラウス兄さんが
With Kraus as crafty as he is, that violation of the rules will come back to bite you.
バカ言わないで。
Don't be
こ
stupid.
こは兄さんの島
This is Nissan's island, and that gold just now wasn't cash. We're talking about the liquidation of a vast 10-ton mountain of gold, right?
運び出して現
It will take a significant amount of time to carry it off and turn it into cash.
それは
And that will only work in Nissan's favor, since he has practical control over this
そん
island.
なこともわからない。
Don't you even realize that?
そういう腹の
I don't like it when you search out each other's weaknesses like that.
私は自分の
All I want is to reach a clear decision regarding my 2.5 billion yen portion.
もちろん
Of course, if you were to give me 2.5 billion in cash right now, you'd be free to continue negotiating however you like.
でも
But until I have my share in my pocket, I will follow the siblings' rules.
私は何を甘いことを
How can you be so naive? You don't understand Nissan's craftiness at all.
分かってない。
It wasn't that Rosa didn't understand the craftiness of her older siblings. In that sense, Rosa more or less understood why Ava was being so cautious. But in her heart, she couldn't clear away the suspicion that Ava wanted to keep all of the gold to herself, because she knew that Ava was at least as crafty as her other siblings. In other words, Rosa wanted to put a stop to any chance Ava had to keep the gold all to herself, by quickly informing the siblings of the gold's discovery. Rosa, sorry, but at least listen to me on this one.
言うことを聞かないと
Are you saying that if I don't listen to what you say, you won't be able to give me that 150 million?
そういう言い方をして
That
いるつもり
isn't the way I wanted to say it. But if you really need the money, supporting me is a more realistic option.
兄さんたちに
If you talk to Nissan and Rudolph,
その当
even the
然
portion that's your natural right might disappear.
それは嫌
You don't want that, do you? For a while, a severe expression that she'd never shown on her sister before rose to Rosa's face. There wasn't even a trace of her restraint as a younger sister. There was just the ruthlessness. No, not ruthlessness. The seriousness of a single human arguing against a vast sum of wealth. Ava made a light of it, chuckling.
やれやれ
My, how careless we must be to stand around here talking like this, even though a frightful murder case has just taken place, and the culprit might still be on the island.
どうせ使用人たちの茶番
I'm sure it was just servants play acting. There were no murders on this island in the first place.
あら
Oh?
やっぱりそう
Do you think that after all?
6人の死亡
The circumstances surrounding those 6 deaths shows us that clearly.
あの6人
A crime from the outside couldn't possibly have created these 6 closed rooms.
南條先生は
Dr. Nanjo said they are all dead, but that was a lie too.
これは全て
This is all complicated act that father cooked up.
使用人たち
All of the servants are just playing
も
dead.
ともと殺人
A
なん
murder never occurred in the first place.
殺人犯なんか
There's no way that a murderer is prowling around. Hello, Brooks. How's it going?
あんたが
I'm surprised you noticed. You look pretty scared, so I didn't think you'd figured out so much.
私そういう
I'm good at reading the mood of a situation. I've got you to thank for training me so well. That's right. Come to think of it, now that the servants are dead, almost everyone on this island is a member of the Ushiromiya family. As for Nanjo, he proclaimed the deaths of the servants. But when the relatives began to discuss the riddle of the epitaph, he disappeared off into the second floor as he didn't want to get in the way.
全て
All of it was an act to get us to try to solve that epitaph.
こそ
And that's why
姉さんが勝利し
you need to announce that you're the victor.
あの焼死体が
There's no way that burnt corpse was really
足の
father.
指の数が
He got a corpse with the right number of toes from somewhere and went through all the trouble of burning it in that creepy way of his, but we would see it.
きっとどこかに
I'm sure he's hiding somewhere, watching to see how we'll behave.
姉
Hey,
さんが
Soma.
黄金鏡に至ったことも
I bet he already knows you reached the Golden Land, Nason.
だからこそ
That's why you should announce that you're the winner
お
soon.
父様がど
I'm
こ
sure father will appear out of nowhere to applaud you and proclaim that you're his successor.
まあでも
Then again,
私は姉さんから1億
I've still got to pester you for that 150 million, so I can't stand against you in any way.
私の言うことを聞い
So you'll listen to what I say and keep quiet about this to Nissan and the rest?
そこを
Make your position clear, Rosa.
私は
I want to tell them. We made that rule just last
そ
night.
れを保護に
We shouldn't just throw it away. Of course, I will announce it in front of the siblings. However, I want to closely analyze the situation first. We've got to carry out 10 tons of gold, convert it into money, and distribute it fairly. Miss Annie, thank you for the follow. Hi, welcome to the challengers. Till I have proof that I can do all that without Nissan getting in the way, I want some time to think. I only want to postpone my announcement until then. I'm certainly not keeping it secret because I want it all for myself. You'll definitely announce it to everyone sooner or later, right? Yes, of course. Even I want to rub it in Nissan's face as soon as I can. About how much time will you need to think? I won't know until I've thought about it. Will one night be enough? I can't promise you that I'll take only one night. Out of respect for you, the successor, I'll support you for one night. This year's family conference will end tomorrow morning. The typhoon passes and a boat comes to get us. That's right. When the seagulls cry. I will remain silent until then. If you still feel that you need more time to think after that, then we'll cross that bridge when we get there, okay? I'll support your position to the best of my ability. Interesting. Hi. You really are cunning, aren't you? I'm surprised. Were you always this resilient? I guess it's true that women become stronger when they have a child. I realized that myself when I had Maria. Understood. For the time being, thanks for your cooperation. We can talk about it tomorrow when it comes. Yes, that's right. I'm convinced that you'll become a fair-minded successor to the headship. One who will never even consider taking all of the gold for herself. Isn't that obvious? I will split the gold evenly among the siblings. Oh. No way! I found it. Because we solved the riddle of the epitaph. So all this gold is mine. I won't give it up to anyone. I am the head of the Yushirumiya family. I am. The witch inside Ava claimed exclusive possession in a loud voice. Of course, that didn't reach even close to Rose's ears, and it probably didn't even reach Ava's either. Indeed, I shall acknowledge it. That's Beatrice. Indeed, I shall acknowledge it. You are the true head of the Yushirumiya family, chosen by the witch's epitaph. Now, I acknowledge it upon my name. You are... that outfit. You couldn't actually be Beatrice. Maybe Beatrice was happy that Ava called her by her own name. She cackled cheerfully. In concert with that laugh, gold butterflies crept up as though a storm of gold dust was spinning around the room. And the room shone the color of gold. Indeed, I am the Golden Witch, Beatrice. There's no need to be so frightened. I am praising your exploits. Truly excellent. Imagine that you would spectacularly solve that riddle of the epitaph. It is worthy of my admiration. So you're the one who sent that letter. So I'll inherit all of the gold and the Yushirumiya family headship, right? You wrote that in your letter. And I overcame that challenge. Indeed. I shall acknowledge it. Right now, all of the gold piled up here, and everything of the Yushirumiya family, is for you to do with as you please. After all, from this moment on, you are already the Yushirumiya family head. Really? It's true, right? Don't be agitated. I am openly praising you. As proof, I shall grant you this. Beatrice took a ring off her own finger and held it out to Ava. She fearfully accepted it. Whoa. She fearfully accepted it and realized that it was a ring. Could this be? Indeed. This golden ring is proof of the Yushirumiya family headship returned to me from Kinzo. From now on, it's yours. Who is she giving this to, though? Because Ava's outside. You may place it on your finger and hold it high before your siblings. No one should doubt that you have now succeeded the Yushirumiya family headship. Ava stared closely at the ring. It certainly wasn't a fake. Without a doubt, it was the real thing. She dreamed of receiving this ring someday, focused on this day over and over again, and it was now finally a certainty. This ring had now designated her as the head and had finally handed over to her. Timidly, She put it on a middle finger of her left hand. Interesting. So wait. Let's talk about that. So Rosa and Ava might have evil witches in them. That's very possible, right? Just like how Kumasawa has Virgilia in her, Ava might have a witch in her. Rosa might have a witch in her. Rosa might be Beatrice. Maria might have a witch in her. Now, get this. Shannon put the ring... There was a whole thing about where Shannon would put her ring when it was given to her by George. This one indicated that Ava put the ring on the middle finger of her left hand. Shannon put the ring on her ring finger of her left hand. I didn't actually realize that she has an entry. Wait. And now retired Endless Witch from Beatrice. She used to be an Endless Magic and devoted her life to smiles and happiness of many people. She taught Beatrice Endless Magic, believing Beatrice would devote herself to the people, and retired. Though she was Beatrice's teacher, she was also a magician employed by Beatrice's family. For that reason, she interacted with Beatrice in a manner fitting of a servant. Some point to this as the source of Beatrice's arrogance and recklessness. In that instant, she felt a deep emotion welling up inside her that she never felt before. Her mind grew blank. Both eyes were opened. That ring was on her own finger. Not in a dream, but in reality. That ring is also pleased. After all, it managed to reach you. One of dreaming and put it on her finger for so long. The ring. Father's ring. How many nights have you dreamed of putting that on your finger as you have done now? The strength of those feelings became your magical and became magical and materialized itself. Now you are worthy of calling yourself a great witch. Who are you? Are you really Beatrice? I am the Golden Witch, Beatrice, the Ushiromiya family alchemist. In accordance with my contract with Kinzo, I will now pass everything on to you. All of the gold that I entrust in Kinzo with, and all of the wealth he built up through it, and the honor and headship of the Ushiromiya family. And I will pass on my power and the title of the Endless Witch. The title of the Witch. I will pass on all of my magical power, and the titles of the Golden Witch and the Endless Witch. Following my predecessor's example, I will hand over my name, Beatrice, along with that title. You may now call yourself by that name. Whoa. Ava gulped. The chandelier light, which had seemed dim, now felt too bright. By my name, I shall now commence the succession of the Golden Witch. Whoa. The instant Beatrice made that proclamation, everything was buried by a golden sparkle and changed into a majestic place that looked like an audience hall. In the audience hall, there was a crowd of Beatrice's minions and brethren, as well as countless gold butterflies celebrating this first succession ceremony in 1,000 years. When she looked, she saw Beatrice in a throne that only the Endless Witch, was permitted to sit in, holding a golden staff, reigning with a dazzling dignity. Without being ordered by anyone, Ava automatically kneeled, hanging her head. A goat attendant respectfully handed Beatrice a golden staff in the shape of the one-winged eagle. After Beatrice stood up and received the staff, she laid the tip of it on Ava's shoulder and spoke. It was a proclamation 1,000 years in coming. Ushiromiya Ava, you have spectacularly solved the riddle of the witch's epitaph and reached the Golden Land. I praise that accomplishment, and I hand over all of the endless magic as well as the titles of the Golden Witch and the Endless Witch. From this point forward, you may call yourself by my name, Beatrice. Come, raise your face, then stand and accept this staff. I am most grateful. Ava stood up dizzily and took the magic staff from Beatrice's hand. Her hand was trembling slightly. What does this mean? As soon as she grasped that staff, she was wrapped up in a brilliant sparkle of gold, as though gold butterflies were flowing out from inside of her. In that instant, she succeeded the Golden Witch. In the instant that she did so, Ava felt something in the depths of her soul be reborn. To describe it in a word, it was energy. Energy with a gold color. Thank you for the head pat. It felt like she was waking up, as though she had been half asleep ever since she had been born and was opening her eyes for the first time. It felt as though her true eyes inside her eyes were open for the first time in her life. Whoa! Please clap. Indeed, a fitting and beautiful outfit for the Golden Witch. Come, you may show yourself to all of these people. Let them know that a new witch is indeed you. Ava, no. The new Beatrice turned around timidly. When she did, the witch's minions, which filled the vast audience hall, honored her with an applause that sounded like the roaring of the sea. Come, everyone. Replace all of the portraits of Beatrice with the new Beatrice. Lift up words of celebration for the new Beatrice. Y'all, what the fuck is happening? Wait, I've seen this image before. I thought this was from some, like, Tales game. New Beatrice. Congratulations on the succession of the Golden Witch. I hope that you will become able to stand on your own as a proud Golden Witch. And as the Endless Witch. Yes, I will do my best. I expect a composure befitting the Endless Witch from you, unlike your naughty predecessor. 3 generations make a family, it's true. Teacher, we're in the middle of a serious ceremony, so please, enough of that. Congratulations on the succession of the Golden Witch, new Beatrice-sama. I am called Renove. I am one of the 72 demons permitted to serve the Golden Witch. If you are ever inconvenienced in the slightest, please let me know at once. Dude, this feels like the end of a chapter. Are we like at the end? Thank you. Renove is rude, but reliable. If anything confuses you in your new days as a witch, speak to this man, and he should be able to help you. Predecessor Beatrice, it is a shame that I was not permitted to serve you further, even though we have finally been reunited like this. Wait, what's happening? Reunited? The last 1,000 years have been very entertaining for me. Okay, hold on now. What the frick is happening? So, there's a lot going on, so hold on. This is like my safety blanket. I just save the game when I like panic and don't know what to do. I have to right click save. So I don't even know where to start on what's going through my head right now. So I'm just gonna say words and they're all gonna come together, okay? So we've known young Ava from the beginning of this chapter, and she's been talking inside Ava's head, almost to the point where it feels like Ava was the only person who could see her. Ava, she coaxed Ava into solving the mystery of the epitaph. So, thought number 1. Dude, I gotta draw this out. I'm sorry. And I know you all probably want to see what happens, but I gotta draw this out. Just to help myself here. Okay. So we've got. Let's just break this down really quick. We've got young Ava. Yeah, not yay. Let's anything but yay. Ava young. Right? So we've got young Ava. She's talking telepathically to Ava. Ava's the only one who can see her. Ava solves the mystery of the epitaph, and then young Ava becomes Beatrice. Which we know is something in just name. Beatrice is just in name alone. That's how you become the Golden Witch. That's how you become it. So what does that mean? That means that Beatrice is somebody, and I also think that means that Beatrice found the gold. I think this Beatrice, the second Beatrice, also found this gold and was given the title of the Golden Witch from Virgilia, right? And then Virgilia is also somebody. This is almost, call it their, like, witch forms, right? This over here, I would almost call it their witch form. Ava's witch form is this young Ava, now the current incarnation of Beatrice. Beatrice is somebody. Maria, maybe? Rosa, maybe? Remember that Rosa, as a child, found this Beatrice in a castle and watched her perish. Did Rosa find the gold 1,000 years ago? Maybe not 1,000 years ago, right? Are we assuming magic is real or not? But Rosa might have found the gold first. Rosa also knew where the gold was. Rosa met Ava at the gold. Did Rosa take on the mantle of Beatrice when she found the gold? Who's Virgilia? Virgilia was Beatrice Middle's teacher. Did Virgilia train Rosa? Sorry, I'm doing too much of the rolling of the R's. Did Virgilia train Rosa? Was Virgilia Rosa's caretaker? Was Rosa raised in the ancillary castle away from everybody else? And that's how she kind of became Beatrice? This is a lot of the thoughts that are running through my head. And I don't know how right any of them are. And also, what does this have to do with Battler watching along? She looks like a Yu-Gi-Oh card, dude. She looks like a Yu-Gi-Oh card. How was I? How are you doing? Hi. These last 1,000 years have been very entertaining for me. You have my deepest gratitude. Indeed. 1,000 years with you wasn't boring. Please, take care of the new witch. Also, when you inherit the Ushiromiya family headship, you inherit the title of the Golden Witch. And you inherit all of the gold. Not the gold, you do. But all of the demons that serve the Golden Witch as well. Hi, I, Renove, will obey the final order of the former Beatrice. Whoa. You'd better thank me, okay? I gave my signature to recommend you for succession of the witch, got it? In other words, if I hadn't signed, you wouldn't have been able to become a witch. Lambda Delta. Lambda Delta and Bernkastel could also be people who have witch forms. So thank me a little, okay? This is the Witch of Certainty, Lady Lambda Delta. The recommendation of a witch from the Senate was required for you to succeed as an endless witch. Lady Lambda Delta recommended you and became your guardian. Oh, thank you. Okay, hold on. Lambda Delta allied herself with Beatrice for this game, in opposition to Bernkastel. What does that mean? Hey, Beto. This kid isn't grateful enough. I think I'll take back that recommendation. A person making these recommendations shouldn't act like a child, right? If you've signed, make sure you take responsibility. Lady Lambda Delta is also the Witch of Certainty. The Witch of Certainty prefers to make fate firm, to create a fate of certainty. She really liked and highly valued your efforts until today. Well, you had that unfortunate childhood, all that unrewarded effort. I can sympathize just a bit with that. It's not like I felt sorry for you or anything, so don't be full of yourself. Son. From my point of view, your succession, well, It was more of a coincidence than a miracle. It isn't worthy of my recommendation. This is Lady Berncastel. She's quite hard to please. Still, you could say that having her participation in this celebration makes you exceedingly lucky. I only came because this is a rare, once-in-a-millennium event, and I heard there'd be some good sake. What? Oh my god, I'm like exhausted suddenly. New Beatrice-sama, please come greet us as well. Oh, I'm pleased to meet you. The 7 sisters of Purgatory were gathered in a line. The eldest sister, Lucifer, took a step forward and kneeled. Yeah, these are all showing up now. What the frick is happening? The Witch of Certainty, who has lived for 1,000 years, she embodies the idea that hard workers are rewarded. Feel by humans, she is a true witch in front of the concept of humans. Illusion her powers once incalculable. She's fickle about those who have actually her men swift, terrifying powers. Many witches surrender in an instant, however, she's often reckless, and Berncastel was able to take full advantage of that. Yet she did fold at 100. Oh yeah, we read this. So now we've got the succession line of the title of Beatrice. Ava Beatrice solved the riddle of the witch's epitaph and was welcomed as the new Endless Witch. She was gifted with an aptitude for magic and is expected to grow into an extraordinary great witch. The genius of a witch often overindulged in her own power during the younger days. Such are the trials only geniuses may endure, and if she proves successful, her name will surely be engraved in the history of Endless Witches. Will she be able to overcome the trials she forced her predecessor to surrender? Will she be able to overcome the trials that forced her predecessor to surrender? We also have like a lot of room on this chart. This is the furniture that serves me. As a gift to celebrate your inheritance, I will send them to you. Once you succeed at the position of Golden Witch, you will need to carry out the resurrection ceremony for yourself. The 7 Sisters of Purgatory perform an essential role in that ceremony. They're a villainous bunch, but they serve their purpose. Have them do whatever you wish. We will always be by Beatrice-sama's side. Please order us to do anything you desire. We'll accomplish our tasks without fail. So does this Ava Beatrice start fighting Battler now? Even after that, many nobles and minions visited and offered words of congratulations for the new witch, and she responded to them confusedly. She felt as though she was growing lightheaded due to lack of oxygen. She couldn't tell if this was something real or unreal, but there was just one thing she could understand. A feeling of achievement at being permitted to call herself the Golden Witch. That alone was a truth she could definitely understand. Yeah, this looks like a Yu-Gi-Oh card. What is all this? Of course, I'm not going to swallow this story, but what in the world does it mean? Aunt Ava is the new Beatrice? Are you saying she's turned into a witch? What the hell? I was also surprised to think that someone would be able to solve that riddle. However, that is the rule. I must follow it and pass on the position of Golden Witch and my name. It is hardly something to be surprised about. At the very beginning, you wrote that rule in a letter and announced it. Ava-sama was simply the first to be successful. That is all there is to say. Virgilia, are you there? Yes, here I am. What does this farce mean? Even if the depiction is strange witches showing up one after the other as some for bullshit, isn't this almost like Aunt Ava turned into a witch? Calm yourself. She simply received the title of Endless Witch, and might call herself that in the future. This succession ceremony is certainly nothing more than an act to promote that child's explanation. Don't fall for the same move over and over again. Ah, is this the sun in the north wind parable? Is this Beatrice's ploy to try to get Battler to admit? Because he'll be a lot more willing to accept one of his family members as a witch than he would be a stranger? That's right. That whole grand ceremony was all phony. But it's at least a fact that Aunt Ava solved the riddle of the epitaph. And at the same time, that means she succeeded the Ushirimiya family headship. And after getting 10 tons of gold, Aunt Ava might as well call herself the Golden Witch. Is that it? Damn. It's as complicated as ever. My. Is a boorish human unable to comprehend the grandeur of this ceremony? Oh well. Being unable to read between the lines is what makes you human. I pity you, but I do not blame you. Damn it. Don't look at me like you feel sorry for me. Still, for the time being, there's something I need to check. And that's regarding the younger version of Aunt Ava. In other words, the definition of this new Beatrice. What is that? Even if I tell of it, you will just persist in your disbelief in magic and witches, correct? So there's nothing in particular for me to explain. Feel free to believe in whatever it seems to be to you. Whatever it seems to be to me, then how should I interpret it? For now, it might not hurt to view it as a visualization of a separate entity inside Ava. Of course, you cannot blindly accept that answer, but it is probably a reasonable theory to hold for the time being. In other words, I should think of Aunt Ava and her as the same person, right? Damn. I don't like where this is going. Ah! I should think of her and Aunt Ava as the same person. There are fewer than 18 people on this island, or there are no more than 18 people on this island. If we think of them as the same person, they count as one in Beatrice's. There are no more than 18 people on this island. Interesting. In any case, for now, my name is no longer Beatrice. I have passed it on to Ushirimiya Ava. Oh, this is big. What do we call her? Which means that I am nameless. Battler, don't you have some name that would be fitting for me? I shall accept your recommendation. How about a name that's refined, full of elegance, and a little cute, too, if you can. Just Beto is good enough for you. There's probably a big enough difference between Beto and Beatrice to keep people from getting confused. So the same old Beto, is it? Doesn't feel wrong, but it's boring for some reason. No way. What? Oh my god, Beto. Hi. Welcome to the chat. Thank you for the first time message. If you've been waiting 3 episodes to first time chat for that moment, I bow, I kneel to you. If you're just joining for the first time, welcome. They say the temperature of black tea and woman's heart are difficult to gauge in any era. Battler-kun, at any rate, stay calm from this point onward. The fact that we can now tell her and Ushirimiya Ava apart works to our advantage. Wait, the fact that we can now tell her and Ava apart works to our advantage, compared to the time when that child was still Beatrice. I am the Golden Witch. Well, welcome. You are actually no longer the Golden Witch. It appears Ushirimiya Ava has inherited that title. And that's exactly why I like it even less. What is she thinking? Beto. Over there, the witches formed a long line to bless Aunt Ava, who had the figure of her younger days and who has now possessed the name Beatrice. Oh wait, speaking of Beatrice, I forgot to put this back up. It was like a witch's coronation. The countless gold butterflies flapped their wings directing this fantastical, gold sparkling space. They were all praising her. As I stared from the distance, I looked at the newly born Beatrice, who had a slightly embarrassed smile on her face. Her expression, which had been lost and confused at first, seemed to be full of the happiness that she was finally starting to recognize. That expression didn't look at all like someone laughing insanely while standing before the gold. It was just the innocence of a person basking in their own joy. As a person who denied the existence of witches, I couldn't view this witch succession ceremony with a joyful expression and accept her. However, when I looked at that innocent smile, I felt like I wanted to offer my blessings, just for that moment. It's always beautiful when strong efforts bear fruits that are rewarded. Aunt Ava, who had always yearned to succeed the headship, and who had worked hard since her youth without reward, had spectacularly taken hold of the chance to get given to her by the riddle of the epitaph, and had finally gained that position. How divine is the smile of a person whose childhood dreams have been granted. I definitely won't accept witches, but... Battler put his hands together, making a small sound. Ah, he's clapping. It didn't reach her ears, but it did bless her. Congratulations, Aunt Ava. You spectacularly solved the riddle of the epitaph before anyone else. It is your victory, without any complaints. I won't accept all that about the Golden Witch and so on, but I will accept you as the new head of the Ushirimiya family, and I'll celebrate that sincerely. As though urged on by Battler's applause, Beto also clapped. It was a slightly odd scene. Battler and Beto, who opposed each other, were standing side by side and applauding the same person. I'm not applauding for a witch. I'm clapping for all of Aunt Ava's efforts up until now. As am I. I offer my sincere applause as a blessing to Ava, who spectacularly solved that epitaph. I always like the original design better. Yeah, I like sticking with this. Oh, we haven't seen Ava Beatrice in the new design. Cute. I don't like applauding with you. But, well, I've decided that I won't worry about that now. Divine punishment won't fall on me just because I clap with you every once in a while. Not so bad every once in a while. Still, it is fun to applaud. Even though it was Ava who was successful and not me. For some reason, I'm starting to feel happy too. That's because blessing someone means the same thing as sympathizing and sharing with them. I see. Then, I have even shared this irrational happy feeling with you. Since we are a pair of enemies trying to make each other surrender, it is an odd experience. Well, just for now, let's have a truce and clap, okay? Beto laughed impishly, playing around and applauding even louder, as though eagerly trying not to lose Battler as she clapped. Battler went along with her and clapped even louder. When he did, as though some ceremony had ended, everyone applauded and highly praised the reborn Beatrice. It was just as though Battler and Beto's applause had been the final thing needed for her succession. What does it all mean? That's probably where we're going to end today if the chapter ends. Yeah. That's where we're going to end today. I didn't mean. Because now stuff's going to have to start hitting the fan. Which we'll save for next time. Because Ava's going to have to carry out the Twilights now. But that will be for next time. Oh, wow. Okay. Appearance Club, thank you for the raid. Oh my gosh, we're just ending. Ah. Your timing is impeccable. Thank you for the resub, Imp. 42 months of support. Big sub train. Thank you so much. Welcome back to the tournament staff. Welcome, Raiders. Hi. Here, let's do this, I guess. My name is Rysair. Tournament organizer and VTuber. I largely play fighting games on it. Well, I largely play Umineko on this channel now. But I actually want to talk about that a little bit. Future of the channel. To the raiders who came in, we are ending. If you want to jump on to another stream, we'll probably raid out to somebody else shortly. I do appreciate Imperious Club for the raid, the GOAT, helping out here. Bruh. Yeah, your timing is impeccable. But, yep, as always. But we've been going for a while. I got to make sure I get a proper amount of sleep and everything. But I do thank you for raiding in. I hope Melty Blood went well. I'm going to talk a little bit about where the stream's going to go. So Umineko is going to continue as the main source of content here until I finish the VNs. If you like Umineko, definitely stop by. Cheap viewers, whoa. Do stop by when you can. We'll be playing Umineko, but I also want to do other games while I weave in Umineko. So it probably won't be only Umineko streams going forward. I want to start playing Granblue again. Might start playing Strive again. Welcome to Rokkenjima. Yes. I might start playing Strive again. Honestly, that patch looks kind of good. And then I got American Truck Simulator from the Steam sale, so we're probably going to be playing that. And then I also want to start playing Slay the Spire on stream, because that game looks like a lot of fun. Power Wash Simulator? Power Wash Simulator is sick, too. A big fan of that game. But let me go ahead and find someone to raid out to. Send the Imperious Club love train that way. Yeah, I'll be playing a lot of stuff. I'm mostly done with my like big travel plans and stuff that I've had for the past couple months. So with that, you will see more regular stream schedule and stuff. So we'll be cutting through Umineko, and then yeah, like random casual chill games, then probably fighting games every once in a while moving forward. But let's go ahead and raid out to whom. Let's raid out here. All right. Y'all be good to one another. I might be live tomorrow if my Grand Archive locals don't fire. They haven't really been firing on Tuesdays. If they do fire, I'll be on Wednesday probably for more Umineko. All right, y'all be good to one another. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.